We're going to be talking about my 5 favorite investments or first mods that you should be doing to your Jeep. These are the more substantial things. We're talking better than the rubber ducky or the little color-coded stuff that, makes our Jeeps authentically ours. This is the stuff that's going to be performance, investment, and ultimately make your off-road experience all that much more fun. It's going to make your vehicle more capable and you having a better time on and off-road. This list is going to be in no particular order, and these are things that I've arrived at after many years of driving, wheeling, beating on, and obviously building many, many Jeeps. Rock slide engineering makes some of the hands down toughest power steps in the industry. This is a fully made in the USA product. It can handle up to 600 pounds per step. It has a soft close feature. That means that if your leg or your arm or some other appendage falls in between the step as it tries to close, it'll actually stop and retract. They actually have extra armor and skins available to protect the step if you are going to be using them as a true full rock slide. They come with door delete kits. That way the step can still reasonably function with your doors off. And they also have some really trick LED lighting features that will illuminate when your door opens and closes and the step comes down and retracts. These are an awesome product. They perform well on and off-road, and they're very different from the other power steps on the market because they are intended to provide protection and functionality for your off-road rig. Beadlock wheels are one of these investments that have become wildly popular and available in the last 10 years. Beadlock wheels allow you to air down significantly and keep the bead seated on the wheel. That's important because if you've ever gotten a flat tire and you started to drive on it a little bit, you'll notice that the bead of the wheel, or the rubber sidewall, will actually start to flex and it can pop off the wheel. When you clamp it mechanically with all of these bolts and the face of this ring bolted to the wheel itself, that at least one side will not fall off the wheel that's on the vehicle. Maybe the backside will pop off, but seating, that means when we put a lot of air in it and we blow it back up, seating that rear bead is actually much easier than trying to seat both beads. There's some wild videos out there on YouTube land that have people using starting fluid and ether and all that kind of stuff, and you fill up the tire and you light it on fire and it goes whoosh, and sometimes a person goes flying and sometimes they don't. And we used to do that on the trail. I gotta be honest, it's not the best option for the average enthusiast to do for the first time when the tire is full of mud and you're holding up 30 other Jeeps on the trail ride. So beadlocks are a great investment to avoid that situation. You have to make sure that you're ready to assume the liability of the fact that this wheel is not DOT approved in most circumstances. People often ask me, Neil, how can I get some more hearse purrs out of my Jeep? Well, if you're this Patriot owner, you can't. However, if you are a JT owner, you can do that pretty easily with a product called Pulsar. So a lot of our vehicles since the early 2000s have had a high level of electrical interface that affect the AFR. That's your air-fuel ratio. Basically, when a vehicle comes off the factory production line, it's about as vanilla or plain Jane as it can be. That means fuel delivery to air to exhaust is a calculated ratio that's monitored by the computer and a series of sensors. That metric that controls the fuel and air, throttle response, and general ignition rate is actually fairly adjustable when given the right software. So a number of different aftermarket companies have offered throttle response or performance tuning for many, many years, but they've never been packaged so neat and nicely as they are now. So the Pulsar is actually an inline computer. And you can see that there's plugs here and there's plugs here. And they actually call it a piggyback computer because it plugs into your existing ECM or PCM and then your primary wire harness here. And what ends up happening is the electrical signal that your Jeep normally receives passes through this computer before entering your primary ECM or PCM. What this does is it passes through that programming that Superchips has developed and then enters your ECM where you actually are controlling the vehicle with your throttle response and your shifting and all those other kind of good things. The cool thing about the Pulsar is that it offers zero ghost data. That means once you remove this from the vehicle and you plug it in normal or factory kind of configuration, the dealership, anybody doing warranty services or another garage or a future owner is none the wiser that this was ever in your vehicle. Most Pulsars offer a true 30 or 40 horsepower. And that's a pretty great gain considering all you have to do is basically plug this in. They make a model of this for the 3.6 engine and the 2.0 turbo. You can definitely check out some of our videos of Turbo and Tons, which is a great video. It's a great build. And we're using the Superchips Pulsar XT, which is an inline that interfaces with the turbo itself to take all the turbo lag out of the equation as well. I talked about it in the white Jeep. I did talk about it in the white Jeep because we just installed it on the white Jeep and you're going to enjoy that too. Horsepowers to dollars ratio is probably one of the easiest things we can do, period. Years ago, we had to add superchargers and turbos. We had to do, substantial forced air induction or power to weight ratio. We had to reduce weight to really feel that horsepower. Now, with a few clicks of the steering wheel, you can light your tires up and do some smoky four-wheel drive burnouts. I like big brakes and I cannot lie. No particular order, big brakes. What's that? Big booty brakes? I don't know. Big brakes increase the leverage applied utilizing a similar flow rate that the vehicle is already producing. By increasing leverage, we can actually increase the stopping power of our Jeeps exponentially. So while fluid capacity is absolutely valuable, and we do a number of other things as far as hydro boost or increased booster size, the most basic thing we can do is move to oversized piston calipers, increased distance bracketry, and oversized rotor assemblies to give us that exponential stopping power that all of this really cool overlanding and armor and off-road big tires require. We sell a bunch of different kits from RT Off-Road to Hawk to Bear Brakes and Power Stop. Lots of different options out there to make sure all of that rolling mass comes to a comfortable rest when you're peering over the side of a cliff. I feel like I'm not making good choices here. Winching. Oh. Winches are an insurance policy. They're one of the things that we hang on the front of our Jeeps so that we can look cool and we can claim that we do some really gnarly stuff with our off-road vehicles. The reality is most people only pull their winch line a few times a year. With that said, when you pull your winch line, do you want your winch to work or do you want it just to be an aesthetic, attractive looking piece? I, for one, definitely want my winch to work. I have what's called an 8274 Warn winch. It's iconic, it's a classic, and it's absolutely a workhorse in our industry. With that said, most people don't need or want that type of winch. The Warn Evo or VR series is more than enough for most people. You get that iconic and legendary Warn name at a price point that most people can afford. It's still an investment, but it's an investment in the right direction. That Warn winch is going to work for you time and time again, exactly when you need it. The reality is, you're going to find uses for that winch that you never knew that you had. Got some ugly shrubs in the front of your house? Pull them out. Your grandma slid off the road in a snowstorm? You're going to rescue her. There's so many things you can do with your winch besides recover yourself off-road, but the reality is you want to choose wisely to make sure that the weight rating is about 2.5 times the weight of your vehicle. So that means if you have a particularly heavy JL or JT, you might be looking at easily a 10 and 12,000 pound winch. Let's say you get into some off-road competitions, you're going to want to review the line speed of your winch. You're going to want to ensure that the duty cycle and the speed at which you can winch or recover is suitable for your needs. Most other people don't need those factors, and so therefore a more affordable winch might make sense for you. The big thing is you want to have it wired well. That means don't have it chafing on any exposed sharp edges of metal on its way to the battery. Don't put an inline fuse on it because it requires a significant amount of amperage to function appropriately. And make sure that you pull the line out at least a couple times a year to make sure that it's not bound and it is functioning when you need it. Bonus best mod. If you've watched much of my content or followed anything I've done over the years, you will know how absolute crazy I am about gears and axles. Gears and axles are what provides mechanical advantage to the traction that you're going to receive on the ground. The engine makes the power, transferring it through the transmission down the drive shafts into the axles. It's just like riding that multi-speed bicycle that we all played with when we were younger in some way, shape, or form. The deeper your gears, so that means numerically higher, the more mechanical advantage your vehicle is going to have. Most of our new JKs, JLs, and JTs are equipped with an independent braking system that once it experiences wheel slippage, it'll actually engage the brakes ever so slightly and allow the tire that is slipping the least to regain some traction. That means it's going to propel you forward. With that said, gears or re-gearing your Jeep is hands down one of the best modifications you can do. We always recommend a traction device. That's a locker for, you know, kind of generic vernacular. But the reality is the real magic is in the gear ratio itself. The lower the number, or in theory, the kind of the least mechanical advantage. So most Jeeps old school came with like 307, then 321s. That is going to provide the least amount of off-road prowess, a good experience. That deeper number, that 456, 488, 513, 538, that is going to feel a little bit like horsepower. The reality is we've actually increased the mechanical advantage that is happening inside the axles themselves. So while we've been playing with this for years and years and years, and those vintage Jeep axles that we love so much typically came with a high 4 or like a 538, most of our new Jeeps are produced with a low 3 axle ratio. That's how many times the pinion spins to how many times the tires rotate. So the idea is we want our tires to rotate more with the pinion input, and therefore that translates as more torque, more off-road oof. And that is really the value of a re-gear. I recommend everybody re-gears. As soon as you do bigger tires, bigger and better gears should be in your future. Are we going, Savage? There we go. See, this is, look at the teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Keep going, Savage. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. What are you waiting for? Well, why? Now we're all crooked. What did you do? You stopped.
What do you mean we're crooked?
Savage. We're completely crooked now.
You were the one steering.
Savage. All right, hold it there. Hold it there. I'm just gonna.
I mean, it did go pretty crooked. However, Neil was the one steering.
I don't think
Davey's just walking along with his hands on it. He's not. That's exactly what he did.
We're gonna do a little test drive with this, Savage, you and I, because it's a hot mamma jamma, and it's literally one of like my favorite like setup looking Jeeps. KMC machetes, Toyo RTs, long arms front and rear. It's got a Mopar 2-inch lift, so that's right, we're on 2 inches and 37s, and it looks this good. And so it's got the Fox shocks front, rear. It's got, those are all the Mopar Fox shocks, and then the Gen Right fenders, color match. It's just perfect. So we're gonna do a little test and tune on it right now because we just got done installing the Superchips Pulsar XT. That is an inline performance programmer. So it actually plugs right into the computer, it plugs into a sensor, and then it interfaces with the turbo. So it takes all of that turbo lag. You got 5 different tunable settings, so depending on how you're using it. Number 5 is like your most aggressive performance tune. And then you have, 1 through 5, and then you have an economy tune as well. So really excited to get in and drive this one.
Sun's out, guns out.
Sun's out, guns out. I expected to be slinging tires today. I had expected that, but that Jeep isn't coming in until this evening. So I was anticipating just doing lots and lots of tires, and we're gonna load that piece of junk car. In a continued edition of our vlog, we're gonna keep working on things that aren't Jeeps that I, personally own. That there trailer and that there car, I'm doing a ECM in it. I'm trying to fit it up to drive for winter. So, what are you doing? Stop touching the HVAC for the customer's
sweat in here.
Stop touching things.
Well, no, I'm diagnosing because it's not working.
You're not diagnosing.
You need to fix it before you give it
You're
back
not
to the customer.
diagnosing anything.
There we go.
What? Why were you touching the customer? Oh my gosh. I'm diagnosing. Get the heck out of here. I will shove myself, like when we have particularly short customers, I'll squeeze myself up. I'll deal with scorching hot heat just so I don't have to touch or change anything of our customers.
I won't do any of that.
Just got a little get up and go.
What was that, 0 to 60 in like 9 seconds?
Stop it. No, no way. Broke the tires free.
Not exactly.
We did. We exactly broke the tires free. That was literally breaking the tires free.
Normally when they break free, they keep spinning.
Well, it is not our job to abuse the customer's Jeep. Our job is just to make sure that they can. The limo, that we can do smoky burnouts on.
He legit hacked the back end code.
What?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
So what are we doing right now? Because obviously we're not working at the moment. So
Scott is scared to go to Las Vegas.
yes,
So we're going to make him think he's going.
I think that's a great idea. So we booked your guys' flights, and we have the itinerary. And we've just added Scott Brown. Savage literally added his name perfectly in it.
He replaced my name through HTML code. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Ever, or what?
The worst Gen Z, I take back today. Today I titled you the worst Gen Zer ever, and I take that back at this moment.
100%, because we would have just copy pasted.
Yeah, I would have copy pasted. I'd still be trying to figure out. I would just be writing him a Word doc. I'd be writing him a Word doc.
Right?
You are registered. The worst part is it would work for Scott. He'd be like, oh no, this is a confirmation to my flight. Oh, I can't wait to send that to him.
Even the bags.
Oh my God. We're ready.
Kind of.
Easy hunt and peck. All right, Gen Z, I'm watching your hunt and peck now. Oh, look at that.
That is freaking awesome.
He's gonna panic. Right now, he's contemplating what he's going to tell his wife. And the best part is, it's her birthday. I said something. He's not even making eye contact. He's not thinking.
Are you excited?
No.
What's wrong, Scott?
What was in your email this morning?
Tickets?
Tickets to what?
Yeah. I don't want to go to.
Why don't you want to go to it?
Because I haven't.
Best part is.
No, I want to go to my kids' Halloween. I want to.
They're fake.
It's fine.
You told him way too soon. We could have let that go for a few hours.
But it's his wife's birthday, and he led with kids. Does that look real?
It does look real, but what is this? Is this yours?
Stylist.
Not mine.
It's a stylist. Why are you worried about a stylist?
I don't know.
Now he's trying to deflect.
He's so frustrated.
He's so frustrated. He's trying to pivot back now.
He's trying not
The
to see
tickets are
red.
real, Scott, but we took my name out and put your name in place of it. That's why Davey's the worst Gen Zer everywhere. Anyway,
Today, Junior.
he was trying to hack the email and change
He
it.
did a
in
really
code.
good job.
Yeah, he went
He did.
HTML, changed stuff.
That
But
was
then it wouldn't
excellent.
allow him to send it. So I just went in the email backspace and typed your name in place, and it let me send it.
So we put your name on Jeff's tickets.
What was going through your head?
We're in sheer panic mode.
I mean, honestly, it was like we just literally talked about that we wouldn't make somebody go do something without talking to them. I'm like, well, that one's vanished.
Come on, when do we keep any protocols around here anyway?
Goodness.
In today's saga of Neil working on junk that is not Jeep related, I don't know, I think that needs a computer. I mean, I bought a computer for it, so I hope that's what's wrong with it. My wife and I bought that car new back in 2009. So that's cool. And I put a transmission in it, and we did all the struts and the plenum gaskets. We've done all the maintenance over the years. And then we started having some little problems with like electrical gremlins. And I dug in there and there was mice that chewed on it. So I'm pretty certain that I actually blew out a piece of the computer. We're gonna put a computer in it. It's gonna go up on this trailer. Don't mind the fact that the trailer was supposed to get rebuilt this summer. That didn't happen. So we're still gonna put the car on the trailer that needs rebuilt, and then I'm just gonna tow it lightly across town to my friend Tom's shop. You've seen that before. That's who does all of our alignments, really solid folks over there. And we're gonna have them flash the computer for me in the car once it's all in. So I'm gonna do a thing. I'm gonna hook the truck up, maybe. Oh, are you signaling me?
Trying to.
That was really helpful of you. All right, you were doing good. Oh yeah, he's doing a great job signaling, or he's not. What were you signaling?
I thought we could just pick it up. How heavy could it be?
How heavy could it be? Give me the camera.
You pick it up. Why are you standing on it? I was like, it was moving before, now it's not moving. Two-person lift.
The only thing I'm a little concerned about is
We have to push it up.
I'm not pushing it on.
So you're saying it's going to start?
No, it's definitely not starting. Well, I left my keys at my apartment. That's problematic because I was gonna take that there Jeep and winch it on.
Jeff has a winch.
Jeff does have a winch, but Jeff is booking your guys' flights to Las Vegas. Vegas, baby. Yeah, we're sending you guys again. I get you. I don't know why we're sending you, but we're sending Jeffrey and Greg and Savage. Oh boy, that's a decision. So hopefully the winch controller for this winch is in here. That's where it should be. I don't feel like it's in here. I feel like I can specifically determine what is and isn't in here, and it's not in here. Woo! She's got power, she's alive.
You're not going to cut it.
Okay, I didn't have it starting. Did we? How we doing?
You're going to have to climb out through the window.
We're gonna turn the camera off, I think. Definitely gonna want to turn that. We're not gonna turn the camera off, are we? I stuck the landing.
You're going to break a hip.
I'm gonna break a hip. All right, it's on. Drove on. Can't keep a Chevrolet down. Looking at you Ford people. Yeah, I said it. Bothers me a little bit that it started as the computer. Maybe it overheats. That's what I'm gonna claim. I'm gonna claim that the computer overheats and shuts it down.